Hi, everybody. How's everybody doing? I hope everybody's having a great Sunday wherever you're at. Thanks for tuning in. I normally don't do this. I don't like to do this to comment on other channels, reaction channels, whatever. But I think in this case, I thought I'd give my opinion on it, what Kalari said in this video. To me, it comes off as very manipulative. I don't know if this has something to do with whatever mental illnesses she has. I don't know. It could be. I don't know. It comes off to me as race baiting, just based on the thumbnail picture that she had. If you watch this, just remember all the stuff that's going on in Gorl world, that has to deal with her and what people have found out. And like I said before, the main reason why I stopped maybe interacting with her is her political views. And no, I'm not going to say whether I'm MAGA, and no, I'm not going to say whether I'm a Democrat. That's not it. The whole point is if you're promoting the death of somebody that's running for president of the United States, and you're going to have a party and dance on their grave or whatever. I don't care what side you're on. I think that's wrong, and that's why I just became not interested in any of her content anymore based on that. I mean, it doesn't help that all the GoFundMe things came out, and I mean, it looks like scamming. I'm just going to call it what it looks like. All the GoFundMes for immigration, for pets, for illness. I mean, the list goes on and on with that, but whatever. So I'm just going to react to this because to me, she's trying to paint girl world in a certain way. She doesn't say it specifically. It's almost like a passive aggressive post. You'll see what I'm talking about. So let's get into it.
It has been a while since I've done one of these. I didn't know if I would even really bring these back, and I don't have the logo because, like I said, I'm on my husband's PC for now with doing these, and even though my PC has a lot more of my logos and stuff, I didn't want this to be about that. So if you're sitting in, this is a mental health vlog for 2024. I just want to get some things off my chest.
And I'm going to say this before she begins. If you are somebody that struggles with mental illness, if you are somebody that hasn't sought treatment for mental illness, I don't think YouTube or the internet in general is a place for you. People tend to be mean. People tend to be in your face. That's just how it is. And if just don't come on the internet. That's all I'm going to say.
The YouTube stuff. I started the mental health vlog a few years back because I wanted to be more open about stuff. I wanted to be as honest as I could be, to give a face to those who handle this and live with this, but don't always feel like they can be seen or heard.
And mind you, let me just say this as well. I'm sorry if I keep stopping. I just find it so hilarious that whether it be Kalari this time, or it be Chantal, Foodie Beauty, or Amberlynn Reed, anytime they get busted or caught in something, they always fall back on mental illness and they use it as an excuse for their behavior.
Health comes with a lot of stigmas, and people don't want to understand that. Some of you think that you understand because you've read stuff in a textbook or you've dealt with somebody, but unless you live this life, you really can't understand it. One of the things that I've had people launch at me is, you don't seem like you have what you have, which is schizoaffective disorder. And antisocial personality disorder, which has the traits, and I was told to my face by a clinical psychiatrist that I have sociopath tendencies.
Okay, I'm going to stop it right there. Okay, schizoid affective disorder. Some of the traits of that would be delusion, false belief of superiority, anxiety, depression, hearing voices, and social isolation. Antisocial personality disorder. The traits of that are tend to lie, break the laws, lack of regard. Sociopath tendencies are manipulation. So remember all of that and listen carefully to what she says. And if you think that this is manipulation or not, I don't know. I tend to believe it's manipulation because she doesn't like being called out on all the GoFundMe scammings and all those kind of scammings that were going on.
And I know that when people hear that, because you think you understand what that means, when I didn't even understand what it meant when I was told it. So I have been lucky to have somebody who could break it down, explain, and then help each other understand the differences. Because that's the thing.
And let me say this again. Sorry to keep pausing it. Kalari, you're not the only one that has been diagnosed with mental illness. I don't know why you come on here and, I understand you wear it as a badge of honor. That's good for you. But you're not the only one that suffers from mental illness, especially in this group of people.
Used to this because I'm used to being monolith simply because of, and yes, whether you like it
Please.
or not, this is going to be about race.
Why?
Because
Why
it
does
has to be.
why does this have to be about race? That's the part I don't understand. Why is this about race? Are you trying because you were let me just excommunicated, I guess, from this group of people, so now you are going to pull the race card? Is that what that means? I don't understand.
Because the studies that people have done in the past on sociopath and psychology in general has always been keen to a standard not set by people of different cultures, people raised by different backgrounds. And it's because of that. So many come at people who can say, hey, I have this, and this is how I've handled it through life, and go, it can't be you. You realize how much eugenics played into the study of mental health? How
Okay, I'm going to stop it right there. What does eugenics, Kalari, have to do with your situation right now? Do you even know the history of eugenics? I don't know. Why are you using eugenics? Were you forcibly sterilized? Did that happen to you, Kalari? Because if you really go into the history of that, yes, black women were forced to be sterilized, as well as white women, that suffered from mental illnesses as well. So I don't understand what eugenics has to do with your current situation at all.
women's voices were
And
almost
let me just say
always
this too as well. And I'm saying this as I'm Hispanic and white, and I'm a mother of a black man and a black woman. So I have a different perspective. And no, I don't have the perspective of the black woman's experience, which would be completely different than mine. I do have an experience as being a woman. So,
downplayed,
whatever, Kalari.
blanketed by things like
Stupid.
hysteria. And then when you add cultures who don't think that mental health means you're evil, that you have a demon inside you, that showing that will somehow make you seem less than, even more less than your skin tone, that it's an embarrassment. It is a lot to navigate.
No,
So
it's
I want
not. I
you
don't
to
understand
hear
that. I
from
don't
my
understand what that has to do with you, Kalari. The whole eugenics, I encourage everybody to go and Google eugenics, probably at the turn of the century, and all of the experimentation and sterilization and all those sort of things that were going on. I want to know what that has to do with you, and why are you using that as an excuse, Kalari?
Own words. Why I know now. And I fully agree with my diagnosis because this world is exhausting. You try to navigate it with a mind that just point blank is blunt. Point blank just doesn't seem to understand why people have to fake their way through stuff.
Who?
Point blank just wants to do your own thing, and you don't really care if you're accepted for it, but you understand that this world doesn't want to accept genuine people.
Yes, it does.
So you try to
the world wants to accept genuine people. The world does not accept people that are fake, that put on a front, because eventually that wears away and we see what you truly are.
And you try to fit in, you realize that shit's too exhausting. So you find ways that you can just isolate yourself and throw yourself into things that do feel more normalized for you. That's why I love writing.
That's
because
good.
When I write, I feel like the world that I create is way more easier to navigate than the world I exist in. And I love this world. I hate the people in it. I'm just honest enough to say.
Why would you say something like that? Then why would you be, or try to be, like you said, you were wearing a mask, you were fake, and you got tired of wearing the mask in girl world, or whatever you want to call it, whatever our group is called. Why do it, Kalari? It was all fake. All those super chats that you were giving everybody. Were you trying to buy friendship? Because that's what it seems like. It was all fake. Just manipulation.
I love this world, but I don't like the people that inhabited it.
That's fine.
And it's not the animals. Animals are innocent creatures. They are genuine. I can understand animals' needs better than people's, because people.
Wait a minute. Is that a comment on? I guess there was a starving animal situation on the property that you lived at. Is that why? So now you're trying to pull a Chantal by saying that you care for animals. I don't know. That's what it seems like to me.
Your face, all the while just waiting to find a reason to twist things on you.
Nobody twisted
People
anything.
will act one way and then act another around other places. People will never allow others around them that have differences.
That's not true. I love to have people around me that don't have the same opinion as I do, or that, they have differences. Because if you don't have that, then you don't learn anything about anybody else. If you have this hug box of everybody with the same opinion, what are you going to learn? Nothing. Going to learn absolutely nothing, Kalari. That's why, and I'm going to say this because I was looking at the comments. All the comments that were negative, not even mean comments, they just weren't in your favor. On the video post that you made, you're deleting all of them. Why?
In what they think or their opinions, and if you dare do that, you're wishy-washy. You're a fence sitter when they don't even understand what fence sitting means.
I know what fence sitting means. That means being neutral, Kalari. What does that mean? Because I don't understand why I even say that. You make no sense.
So yes, navigating this world, navigating people has always been exhausting.
Why?
And I used to say, thank God for the internet. Because even though the internet is full of mass people too, you don't really have to know anybody on a deep or personal level unless you want to. And that was the magic of being online, and still is somewhat.
The magic of being online for somebody like you, because you said that you got exhausted from wearing the mask, is because you can come online and be anybody you want to be. Anybody. An example, going over your channel and going to videos and things like that. Apparently, you're a witch. I didn't know that. That's fine. You could be a witch. I don't know if you still are. You claim to be a witch. There's videos of that. There's videos of you all of a sudden you're bulimic, and that's the reason you're giving for the teeth issue, which to me, I'm highly suspect of that. I don't know. The teeth issue that you have, and I'm not putting you down for that, but I don't think that has anything to do with bulimia. As a bulimia sufferer myself, not currently, I was in treatment for it for many years, and I haven't been bulimic in many years, but those two don't fit together. So I don't know, Kalari. It just, all of this just seems like manipulation because you were busted.
All the time. The fact of the matter is, I do not enjoy social interaction. I've never really did, but I used to force it. When you have a big family, you don't get a say in whether or not you want to deal
Whatever.
with gatherings or go to social events. But as I got older, I was grateful to be able to get into a place where I could say no, where I can artfully dodge without hurting somebody's feelings when they give an invite to something, or when they want to just show up unexpectedly. I can pretend that I was busy and I didn't hear them. Because that was life when I was more in a city. And now, living out where I live, I don't get those anymore. And it makes me happy. I think too many
I don't know.
people.
It seems like because of where you're at, I believe you're out in the country. I don't know how far you are, like the spaces between the properties or whatever. But it seems like you are truly bothered by it and you have a bit of cabin fever, Clary. Otherwise, you wouldn't have spent so much time on the internet trying to befriend people, and it was all fake. It was all a facade.
Assume that because they see me in this phase of my life, after years of working towards stopping denying and being ashamed of what I have, and getting the help that I need so that I can talk coherently, so that I'm not so in my head that I don't know what's going on. I think people don't want the real of this because you have your opinions on what this is like. You have your opinions on what people go through. And that's why I'm going to preface this again. My experience is not everybody's experience with this stuff. I probably should.
No, it's not everybody's experience. Everybody's experience is their own experience, but you're coming off like you're the only one on this platform or in this circle of people that suffers from mental illness, and you're not special in that way, Kalari.
And I had to say that, but apparently I do all the time. And that's exhausting too, if I could be blunt and honest. That I have to tell people who, if you were put in a box and told that your lived experience and your life wasn't what people think of you, that you would have to constantly explain what your own mind is going through when nobody's in here. And unless you're one of the things that I hear, no, you do not understand what this is like. And unless you have personally gone through this, I'm sorry, even if you study this as a career, it is not the same as going through it.
What are you going through? The only thing that I see you going through, Kalari, is using mental illness as a crutch because you got busted. That's the only thing that I see here. And I'm not trying to shame you or anything like that. I'm just saying what I see. That's it.
I've said this before and I will say it again. I thank God every day. Whether you think me thanking God makes me a faithful person, no, I'm just a spiritual person. I thank God every day that I didn't have this platform at my worst times. Because there were years that went by that I did not want this. I did not want to admit to it. I was afraid of it, and I was in denial. I did not want that stigma of what I had, because the only influences I had of it was people shaming people, people ostracizing people, people making you feel
So
like it.
excuse me, are you going to use the excuse that you were having episodes of your schizoid affective disorder, your social disorder, whatever, Are you going to use those as excuses for putting up all the scamming GoFundMe and immigration things and all of that? Are you going to use that as an excuse for that behavior? Because that kind of seems like that's what you're doing, Kalari. And I don't think many people will agree with that. And I think many people will call that manipulation.
You say it, we can't be around you because you'll embarrass us. And when you live with something like that looming over you and you get told by people that didn't look like you at the time you got your first diagnosis
What does that
that you
mean?
have this, and then you got people in your community still publishing articles saying they can't diagnose us with this. It is a confusing world to live in. And so many
And I believe what she's referring to maybe is a cultural thing. And I say this because I've had conversations with my husband about this, with my son, my daughter about this. They are all black within the black community. And I would even say the Hispanic community where I'm from, that a lot of people, if they are suffering from mental illness, a lot of them do it in silence and alone, because having a mental illness issue is something that people do not admit in the culture, in either culture. And if they do admit it, people will tell you that there's nothing wrong with you. So, yeah, that's a cultural aspect to it that I can agree with on that.
people only see the negative aspects of mental health. You only want to see people constantly breaking down, constantly in a bad way. You are joy stealers. You don't understand. And I don't think I can make you understand. Because the only thing you gravitate to is when somebody's suffering.
Excuse
Instead,
me. I don't know. To me, these are crocodile tears, number one. And number two, I didn't see you feeling the same way when you were going after Foodie Beauty. You didn't have these same feelings. When she is down and, you know, having her episodes or whatever, being ragey, all that kind of stuff like that, I didn't see you feeling for her, Kalari.
somebody being honest when they're happy. I don't want to understand this world because I don't fit in this world.
I honestly don't feel sorry for you, Kalari. I don't. You put yourself
I
here.
don't want to be a part of groups because I know as I sit
I
back.
don't look at. I honestly do not feel sorry for you in the way that people have found out about all the stuff. That's your own fault. The problem that a lot of people have with you when it comes to all of this, Kalari, is that you won't take accountability for it. You won't admit to it. You won't say, yeah, I did these things. I was scamming, you know, for money, blah, 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 because that's what it all looks like to people, Kalari. I think a lot of people would have a little bit more respect for you if you came out and did that, and not do this manipulation, crocodile tears, all of this. To me, it's the same thing that Chantal does. This manipulation, this feel sorry for me when you get busted. It's the same thing Chantal does.
And observe the way people behave. And now that I know, giving it a try, that all you end up doing is finding a way to make yourself unacceptable, I'm good with not being accepted because I don't want to be fake. I don't like this world, but it isn't the world itself. It is the people in it. It is the constantly feeling like attempts to even try to let people in will mean you will get hurt. It is the reality that people would much rather watch a video where you are upset and acting out of pocket and then go, oh, can't blame me. It's my mental illness, instead of seeing somebody who has worked so fucking hard to
The same thing could be said for Chantal. Now, like I've always said about Chantal, there's nothing better than I would love for her to be a success, to get healthy, to get into treatment, to get, to get everything right with herself and just be accountable for all the things that she's done. But Kalari, you, like I said, you can't come on here with these crocodile tears saying all of this when you've been just as vile towards Foodie Beauty, Chantal, yourself. It doesn't work that way.
be where I am today. You say you want real, you just want suffering. You just want misery. You just want somebody that you can mock and manipulate. And it's exhausting. And this is why I set boundaries with people. This is why.
So then, like I said, what about Chantal? You mock her, calling her heifer, and I don't even know, all sorts of other things. What about the things that you've done to her? So you have no remorse for that, but then now all of a sudden, when people come to you, you're having your come to Jesus moment and like you feel sorry for me and all of this. It doesn't make sense, Kalari. Like I said, all I see is manipulation here. I don't feel sorry for you at all.
I don't try to get to know people that deeply because people aren't real. You just aren't.
We are real.
These are
That's
the
the
kind of
problem.
people that will smile as long as somebody's doing what you want, saying what you want to say, agreeing with everything 100% with you.
That's not true. But if you're going to come on here and like you just admitted in this video that you were wearing a mask and you got tired of wearing it, if you're going to come on here, especially in this group of people, and have the type of skeletons that you've had, and then when you get called out on it, do all this crap. Yeah, I mean, come on, Kalari. Do you hear yourself?
You don't want anything that shakes your cognitive bias.
Please.
You don't want to open the doors to people who don't act like you. People don't have your same background. People don't have your same lived experience, but you just want to act like it. So much outrage on behalf of people
And let me just say
that you
this
pity.
too as well. You're not the only black woman that's in this group of women. There's women and men from every culture, every country, every background, in this group of people, Kalari. So for you to come on here and try to race bait and say that you're being treated different because of your skin color, because that's what I kind of get out of this. I think it's bullshit.
That you think, oh, we've got to be protective of them because they're too stupid. Because a lot of you think that mental health means unintelligent too. That's what I say about a monolith. That's what I say about people who don't understand what this is like. And that is why I cannot keep letting this shit get to me. But I think people really, truly need to understand that even if you study this, even if you think you have so much knowledge in this, anybody who is good with any realm of mental health study, advocacy, or even work, whether you're a therapist or psychiatrist, you understand that you are there to listen and help. You are there to understand perspectives, and you have got to weigh a person's how they grew up, where they've come from, how they process things. Because like I said earlier, so
That's not going, and I'm saying this as a person who's been in treatment for many years and had the same psychiatrist for many years. That's not what they're there for. Yeah, they're there to listen, but they're there to direct you and help you get on the right path, Kalari. Obviously, you didn't get that from it.
many set the standards based on people that don't look like me, didn't get raised the way I got
Whatever.
raised. That is why I was so happy to talk about this. Because you don't think I've had to sit quietly as I've watched people just blanket term the word sociopath, interchange it with psychopath tendencies, which I used to do. You don't think I changed?
Both of these issues that you are saying that you're diagnosed with, two of them have criminal elements to them. So, like, are you admitting to being, having criminal behavior, Kalari? Because I mean that would go along with the scamming with the GoFundMe. I don't know.
when people assume the way I've interacted online, because I can shut it off. I can get all my fill of talking to people, and then I turn the machine off, and I can just relax in my own mind, in my own world.
But see,
So
that's not how this works. Either you come on YouTube and you have your channel and you are your authentic self, Kalari, or like I've said, you've admitted to it's all fake and false. You can, like, the way I talk on here on this channel is how I am. I talk to my kids this way, I talk to my husband this way. This is my personality. So you can't come on here and be fake, and then when people call you out on it, get upset.
you really think you understand what this is like? And even talking about it, you've got to give so many caveats that I'm not trying to give medical information. I'm just trying to share my experience. I'm not trying to tell everybody that has what I have will even go through this, because
Then that's fine. Share your experience. I like when people share their experiences, whether they be tragic experiences, happy experiences, diagnoses, whatever the case may be. I think it's a good learning opportunity for people, to connect and things like that. What I don't like is people using mental illness or whatever diagnosis they have as a manipulation tool and an excuse for behavior. Kalari, don't get it twisted.
understand. Not everybody has access to mental health help. Not everybody has a support system. Not everybody wants to admit they have something wrong, which was me 20 years ago. And I can tell you, the dark thoughts don't go away. I'm just lucky that I have people that understand she's in a bad place. What can we do to not overstimulate,
Get out of
but
here.
make her feel comfortable so that she doesn't do something
So what are you
stupid?
saying? So excuse me. So what are you saying? Because you have issues that everybody is supposed to walk on rice paper around you and be careful not to trigger you because, oh no, you have dark thoughts. That's not the way this works. If that's how you are, Kalari, get off of the internet, get off of YouTube. If you're not mentally capable of dealing with people putting you on Front Street, don't come on here.
I don't even understand this world half the time, but I do understand that navigating it just isn't worth my time most days. Trying to get people to grasp that there are people like me out there, and that we don't need you to coddle us.
You
We
just said
don't
you wanted
need
to be
you to
coddled.
talk over us if we're coherent enough to talk. And I do not like being infantized by anybody. I went through so much in my life not having a voice. And I refuse, now that I have found it, to let anyone steal that, no matter what you think of me. I think people think I'm joking when I say this, but the less people who like me,
I don't think you're joking when you say all of this at all. I don't. I think that you do have some issues, some diagnosed issues, Kalari, but I think you are trying to use them, like I said, as a crutch and an excuse and a manipulation tool. That's all.
less exhausting it is, because I know I'll disappoint. I know I will. Because I just like being me, and I don't see the point of trying to fit in to what people want to be liked. I just don't understand.
Then why couldn't you be the real you, Kalari? Why can't you just come on here and take accountability for the crap that you've done in your past? Why not? Do you think maybe people would have accepted you? I know I probably would if you were accountable for a lot of the crap that you've done.
It, and I don't think I'm meant to.
Please.
But that's it. This is all I wanted to say with this. I don't know if I'm going to do any more of these. I would love to, but honestly, I don't like feeling vulnerable. To me, vulnerability is a weakness. And it's a weakness that people like to exploit, especially on here.
I don't think so.
But
I don't
really,
people yeah, there are people that like to exploit weakness. That is 100% true. But What you're doing right now is not showing weakness. What you're doing right now is not showing vulnerability. What you're doing right now is a manipulation tactic, and that's what I see.
Felt that I needed to say these words because too many people don't understand. Too many people think because they think they know that they could tell somebody who's literally going through this how we feel. So there. I honestly really don't even think that people care. I don't. I don't believe that anymore. I think people just want to
I
be
do care. I do care about people. I'm one of the people where I genuinely do not hate people at all. I might dislike somebody, but I don't hate people. If you were truly genuine, Kalari, I think I would actually care. But like I said, I don't see anything genuine here at all.
right and stuff. People just want to feel justified and stuff. And people aren't willing to think outside their own paths. And that is why I will stay forever antisocial because it's not this world. It's the people in
That's
it.
but that's a you problem. That's not a society problem, Kalari. Fix it. I guess that's the end of it. Whatever. Like I said, Kalari, if you have a therapist or you have a psychiatrist, I think you need to call them, number one. Number two, I don't appreciate the race baiting with this. With, like I said, the thumbnail, she's saying that she's being treated like this because she's a woman of color. All of this, that's not what's going on here. Plain simple, you got busted, Kalari, and you're using all of this as an excuse. I don't appreciate it. I don't think Girl World appreciates it. To try to paint us in this way, I think it's bullshit. So it's whatever, Kalari. Yeah, that's all I have to say about it. I'll see you when I see you. Bye.